Ooh. All right, everybody. I decided to make this video because I did a lot of research, like everyone's saying online, for my rotator cuff surgery. So I had rotator cuff surgery, and yesterday, this is one day, has been over 24 hours. I forgot what they all repaired, but they did say, the doctor did say it was very significant. Don't know what that means. I have it written down somewhere, but who really cares what you tore? It's, or whatever, you still had rotator cuff surgery, I'm thinking. So a lot of advice that I saw on YouTube was get this ice machine, get a nerve block. My doctor recommended these, because I was going to bring it up to, do I have to purchase a ice machine? Do I have to, where can I get it? Is it covered with insurance? But it was, it was one of those parting gifts they give you if you could consider it that. So I did get the nerve block. They went in right here into my neck on this side. It did not hurt going in. It did not hurt whatever they had to do. They did a little ultrasound, found my nerve, and I forgot what they told me, but they either pinched it or there's a loop there, and you come with this bag. There's medicine going in, so there's a catheter right now going into the nerve and the nerve block, and it is full of this medicine. And they say this ball is going to go down, but it's dramatically, it hasn't. So it's this ball, and there's a dial right there where you could either turn it up or down. They told me to keep it at a 4. I left the hospital with it at a 6. The nurse said just put it at a 6 and whatnot. I believe I lowered it to a 4 after talking to the nurses and whatnot, and they called the day after they called today. But nerve block, if you get a nerve block, you'll probably come in with a catheter afterwards. I haven't felt really any pain. So let's back up a bit. So I checked into the hospital, COVID times, so my wife couldn't even come in with me. She checked me in, and then she had to leave, and then I went downstairs to the surgery prep. So whole thing's gown, everything lay there. They start putting the IVs and everything. The nerve block, like I said, they did a little ultrasound, found the nerve, did what they had to do there, and it was relatively quick. I mean, it was 2 hours before I had to get into surgery, but it went quickly because there was always something. They always had to do something. And I'm sorry for my voice. I'm still kind of recovering from the tube that they put in there. So went in there, excuse me, rolled into the operating room, was fine. My doctor that did it, was there. He checked in, they signed, he put his initials on my shoulder when I was waiting. So I got in there. He was like, the whole team kind of surrounded me, and they were talking about what they were going to do. If I had any questions, I could ask them. And then the one of the nurses in there was very, very sweet and was like, let's think about a vacation and a dream, something so I could dream about, which I never dream when I'm under anesthesia. I just wake up in recovery. So I finally, they finally started putting the medicine where I could fall asleep, and the anesthesia. Fell asleep, woke up. They said that it took a little bit over 2 hours, I believe. And then I was in recovery for an hour, and then they just sent me off home. There was a little confusion about the anesthesiologist that put this nerve block in. And this catheter with painkillers going right to the joint said, your vein was pretty good, or I'm sorry, your nerves are pretty good, so you'll probably, it's either a 4 or a 6. She was like, you could put it at a 4, that'll be perfect for you. And when I left, like I said, the nurse that checked me out set it at a 6, not the 4, and told me to take my narcotics when I got home. I think it's oxycodone or something like that. Just to stay ahead of the pain. I did. And then when I talked to the doctors today, they were like, if you don't need it for pain, you shouldn't take it, and probably save it for when the nerve block runs out, because they say it could only last, it only lasts 5 days. And that big bubble, the big ball, is supposed to look like an apple core at the end, just like sucked dry. I don't know if it's going to do that, because this is day 1 and it hasn't really moved from day 2. And I've been looking forward to getting the nerve block out, just because it makes your, my thumb and my index finger, they're so sore. I mean, they're not sore, but they're just numb, and it's so aggravating for me. I hate that feeling. But got home. I slept all through the night last night. I use a recliner that we have. There's people saying, get a recliner. We had one in our living room set. They were like, make sure the pull is on the left side, ours is on the right, but my wife is here to help me. So pretty much slept through the whole night. I woke up around 6 in the morning. Got out of the recliner around 6:30 and went for a walk around the neighborhood. And then just came back and rested, and I talked to the doctors. They didn't have that cushion between the body or the sling. Let me see if I can lower this without breaking everything. You know, that sling, that little cushion there. They didn't have it in. But then I asked the doctor, and he's like, I didn't know if I was hurting myself, because it was the nerve block was in there. But my arm was flat, and it kept on kind of wanting to slide back, and I kept on pulling it up. But see how it just naturally, when you pull up, you move your shoulder. And so I was wondering if I was causing any damage. When I was on the phone with the doctor today, he said, there's going to be natural movement, of course, but don't take off the sling. Don't try to pick up anything. That's the movement that they want to avoid. Just try to keep it in the sling. There's going to be natural movement for 3 days, and then the 3rd day I could take it off, take out my bandages, shower, do my pendulums, and rock the cradle exercises that my physical therapist gave me. But yeah, I was worried if I was hurting my shoulder, because I was like, 1, I wasn't feeling any pain, and 2, I was like, why does this keep on slipping? Should I put this pad in between my sling and my body to be, I want the perfect position. So that's kind of it. Some other interesting points or things to consider is, I went to the hospital with like the biggest shirt I had. The nurse that was dressing me was like, oh, they should have told you to do a button up. So if you could take a button up something, that might be better. Yeah, just stuff, it was, I haven't felt any pain. So I'm anxious and eager to see if anything happens with that. So I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the nerve block to kind of die out, and then you pull out the catheter yourself. But the ice machine has been great, just circling cold water. So yeah, those are the tips. I'll give you some other tips kind of as I go along. We had to get one of my old t-shirts, and I cut off the arm so I could slide it in, and then when I go for walks, I connect that with a safety pin. A lot of people were saying that I saw, they were saying that they were going to put, they sew in Velcro and stuff like that, which makes total sense. Uh, yeah, just something like there was a little bit of a razor burn or rash that I got when they shaved me under my arms, and this gray Velcro underneath that connects it is kind of rough. So I've been leaning forward and letting my arm hang a bit, and then putting like some powder up in there just to kind of make it dry and smooth and stuff like that. But it hasn't been too bad. Once everyone found out that I was having rotator cuff surgery, I was getting messages saying, hey, I had mine done last year. I've had 2 done. It's a long recovery, but it's so worth it. So, yeah, it was all that whole point of like, I could raise this arm, no problem. But when I try to raise this arm, it was like that kind of action, which I know if you're looking at this, I know what you're talking about. You would know what I'm talking about. So this is my day 1 after surgery. Totally fine. No pain. Just the numbness in my fingers is what bothers me right now. I do feel like someone's pushing on the inside out sometimes, and I don't know if I'm freaking myself out thinking it's one of those studs in the bone or whatever, those anchors in the bone. I don't think it is an anchor in the bone. I just think it's surgery stuff. And it's very slight. It's maybe a 1 on the pain scale. But like I said, I was able to get up first thing in the morning, took a loop around. It was probably about half a mile. Walked with my wife, and I did another one in the afternoon, and then did one in the evening. So a 1.5 mile walk right today, the day after surgery, is really great. I'm going to see if I could go a little bit longer. There's a bigger loop we do. But one thing with the nerve block, they say sometimes it affects something like the side with your diaphragm. And if we could take an x-ray right now, and you'll see that's the right side diagram, or whatever side you're going to get your nerve block on, is a little bit smaller. So there, that it kind of squishes down or decompresses or something, and you're not able to get the biggest breath of air in your diaphragm. I was like, I'm usually side effects don't affect me. So I got up at the hospital after they put in the nerve block, and I went to the restroom before the surgery, and coming back and sitting on the bed, I was like, really, it was like a hard trying to get a deep breath. And then after surgery, I had a lot of like phlegm or something just trying to get out because of the tube. And when I went for walks today, it was like where I had to take a couple deep breaths. So I didn't want to push it too much. I just did a small loop and kind of went from there. I'll give you some other tips as I find them, and there's some bathroom tips that my physical therapist kind of pointed out for me, and I have my own tips, so I'll let you guys know what I'm going to do there. And then once I shower on Sunday, I could kind of let you guys know what to expect, and then guys go from there. And then we'll, I ideally want to do this video and kind of show everyone the recovery and kind of go from point A to point Z. I want to show all the aspects and see what happens with my shoulder development over this next year. So my surgery was October 1st, 2020, and today is October 2nd, 2020. So I'll check in tomorrow, just give you an update, maybe when we go for a walk or something. And then I will check in after a shower, which would be Sunday. And Sunday is my birthday, so I have some family coming over. I just was like, if I feel up to it, I just didn't want to be bored, you know, just see some people and come over, you know. But we are hopefully that's going to happen. But depending on when the nerve block medicine, my Pokemon ball, I call it, runs out. But yeah, everything's been going great. My wife Sarah has been phenomenal helping me through all this. But yeah, wanted to let you guys know everything's good, and we're gonna have this journey together, and we'll check things out as we go. Alrighty, talk to you guys tomorrow.